This is Circumstantial Objects. I would like to introduce a piece of object today called loose screws. And you probably will figure out why we named it loose screws really soon, or just by looking at the piece. We would like to introduce a piece every day, if not every other day. So at least we'll set up, we'll have a very regular schedule, so that we'll have, we have new pieces all the time for you guys to see. So here is a piece that was finished recently, 2017, probably back in September. But it actually includes a lot of pieces of way back when Gary did this in 1981. So this is a piece that spanned quite a few years, 20-some years. So we have some obviously new elements and we have the old elements. So in the top right corner, we have two pieces of saguaro. They are the cross sections of the ribs. So you can see, they're just sort of like little cross, they're just like little medallions. And right below that is a late 19th century stamp from Puerto Rico. And then along the right edge of the piece is a feather that we collect here and there. And let's go back and just look at the background. The background is dressmaker's pattern, crumbled up, and then that was affixed to cardboard. And then pretty much in the very middle of the piece is a paper collage that I mentioned earlier that Gary did in 1981. And below that are a few screws that were randomly placed and grouped together. There are a few loose screws, and I will pick that up for you and show it to you soon. And then to the left-hand side of the piece are just scraps of paper that we collected, and then below the two bluish appearing papers are below that are a bunch, a few pieces of collages that are done a few years back. And then they're just, so basically this piece is that. It is a piece put together because for the color, for the texture, and just the composition. So let's take a look at the loose screws part. So a few pieces get loose in there. They just kind of rattle around. So this piece actually do not have a upside down or right side up orientation. It can be moved and oriented in any way you like. The back is signed and dated, and also has its own dust jacket, so it's completely finished, ready to be put on a desk, a console, or the wall. So I hope you will enjoy this, and this object can be obtained at circumstantialobjects.com. I'll see you next time.
All right, this piece here we call loose screws, and how it got its name was one of the last things we did when we were making it was put down a line of hot glue and just dump a handful of screws on it. And we were aware that some may fall off, and in fact a couple fell off, and we decided that was kind of an interesting feature for a collage, so we left it that way. And basically what I want to show you are some of the details of this piece. It is a collage, basically all paper except for the screws at the bottom, and there's 2 pieces of saguaro wood that was sliced for this piece. And this piece here has a couple of collages that go back to 1981 when I was working on a farm in New England, and I came across some old paper, invoices, bills, things like that, that had really beautiful handwriting, and I was really taken by the handwriting. And at that time I was studying Kurt Switter's, and I liked his work, and so I kind of tried doing some of the same kind of thing. And as you see, the handwriting on the old paper is just gorgeous, and like that. So other parts, we have a couple of stamps there basically for color, and there's an old palette I cut up, an old watercolor palette that I just used for color. Pieces of paper. On the inside of the frame, there are some strips of paper from an old German-American dictionary, and there's some a dressmaker's pattern paper in there. I like the dressmaker's patterns because they have lines in the paper, nice. And I think that's about it. It's 11 3/4 by 11 3/4 square. I don't usually like working with squares, but this is a nice shadow box we found, and so there it is. I hope you enjoy it.